Title: Come back from college and found my home empty with my belongings left in garbage bags on the porch. When I first left for college, I thought my life was just beginning. I had worked hard through high school, pushed myself through endless late-night study sessions, and secured a scholarship that made my parents proud. At 18, walking across that campus for the first time, I felt unstoppable. My dorm room was tiny and the food wasn't great, but it was my chance at independence. Over the years, I grew into myself. I built friendships with people from across the country. I joined clubs, worked part-time jobs, and even spent summers taking extra classes to finish early. College became a second home, though I always told myself nothing could replace my real home, our small but warm house in the suburbs where my family had lived for over a decade. I used to picture the day I would come back for good. I imagined my mom standing in the doorway with a smile, my dad behind her asking about my plans, and maybe even a little welcome home sign. But when I finally returned after my last semester, things were far from the dream I held on to. I pulled into the driveway on a sunny afternoon, exhausted from the long drive and ready to drop my bags in my old room. But as soon as I stopped the car, something felt wrong. The blinds on the windows were drawn, the flower pots that my mom loved were gone, and the house looked eerily lifeless. I climbed out and walked up to the porch, only to stop dead in my tracks. There were 4 large black garbage bags, tied tightly and stacked against the front door. At first, I thought it was just trash waiting for pickup, but then I saw something sticking out of one bag, my old high school yearbook. My chest tightened. I pulled the bag open and found my clothes, books, and even some framed photos I had in my bedroom. My belongings. Dumped in garbage bags. My hands shook as I knocked on the door, but no one answered. I rang the bell again and again until the realization hit me: the house was empty. Completely empty. Neighbors began peeking out of their windows, and one finally walked over. Mrs. Peterson, who had lived across the street since I was a kid, looked at me with pity. "Sweetheart, I thought you knew," she said softly. "Knew what?" My voice cracked. "Your parents, they sold the house about a month ago. Moved out last week." I felt like the ground had been ripped from under me. "Moved? Without telling me?" She gave me a sympathetic look. "I assumed they explained everything to you." "I guess not." My heart pounded as I tried to process her words. I hadn't received any call, any letter, not even a vague warning. My parents had moved away and left my life in garbage bags on the porch. I spent the next few hours sitting on the porch steps, calling my mom and dad over and over. Straight to voicemail. I sent texts, emails, even checked social media, but there was nothing. It was as if they had vanished without a trace. Confused and desperate, I opened each bag carefully. There were my old textbooks, my journals, some clothes I hadn't worn in years, and a box of trophies from debate team and track. Everything that tied me to that house, discarded like it didn't matter anymore. Finally, I noticed an envelope taped to the door. My name was written on the front in my mom's handwriting. With trembling fingers, I opened it. Inside was a single letter. "Dear Emily, we made some difficult choices recently, and we decided to move forward with a new chapter in our lives. We didn't want to burden you while you were finishing school, so we left your things here for you. We hope you'll understand. Love, Mom and Dad." That was it. No explanation of where they went, no phone number, no forwarding address. Just a vague message about a new chapter. I couldn't stop crying. I had worked so hard believing that home was waiting for me. And now it was gone. The first few nights were the hardest. I stayed in a cheap motel, staring at my packed bags, feeling unwanted and abandoned. I replayed memories of childhood birthdays, Christmas mornings, and family dinners. I couldn't understand how the people I loved most could just walk away without saying goodbye. But as the days turned into weeks, I began to realize something. Home wasn't just about 4 walls and a roof. It wasn't even about the people who raised me, not if they chose to leave without a word. Home had to be something I created for myself. So I started over. I got a job at a local cafe while applying for full-time positions related to my degree. I rented a small apartment, decorated it with the photos and mementos I had salvaged from the garbage bags, and promised myself that I would never let someone else's choices define my future. The pain didn't disappear overnight. It still stung when I thought about the life I lost. But slowly, I learned to let go of what was gone. One evening, as I was unpacking the last of the bags, I came across a small notebook I had kept in high school. On the first page, I had written, "The future is mine to build." Reading that, I smiled through tears. My parents may have shut me out of their lives, but they couldn't take away my dreams or my strength. I built a new life, one filled with friends who felt like family, mentors who believed in me, and opportunities that I chased without fear. And though it hurt to admit it, finding my belongings in garbage bags on the porch was the push I needed to stop looking backward and finally move forward.